Now, before you write anything, so you've got your quill, you've got your parchment, you've got all your bits. You've got all your bits. You're ready to write. Yes.
Yeah.
No. No, because apart from obviously making that declaration of intent, you also have to do this. Right, this is my Amalek envelope.
Your Amalek envelope.
An Amalek envelope. So Amalek, the bad guys in the Torah,
the Amalekites,
Amalekites, who we are commanded, Timchet Zecher Amalek, blot out the remembrance of Amalek, from under the heavens, because they are really evil. Now, you can't do that because A, we don't know who the Amalekites are today, and B, the police would probably be upset if you started going around blotting out Amalekites. There are Amalekites knocking around. There's a lot of anti-Semites who are, sadly,
so there's an interesting paradox in the Torah, because it says to write this in a scroll, and it includes the name Amalek, and then it says to blot it out. Remember to blot it out.
Remember to blot it out.
Yeah.
So you can't do that commandment, but a scribe can.
Okay.
So the scribe does that commandment, because fundamentally what a scribe does, before they start to work, they will take a piece of parchment, write the word Amalek, and then cross it out, usually with 3 lines through. Okay. So this is my little Amaleks, and then eventually these will all get burnt. But this is my little envelope for show and tell.
So every time you write, every
time you are going to start a new writing session, you write Amalek and you cross it out, because you're doing that commandment. So that commandment gets done for everybody. But more importantly, you are testing your quill, and you're testing your quill on something that you don't care about, because you don't like this word.
Right.
This is not a nice word.
So if you mess up on Amalek, that's okay. Yeah, if you mess up on God's name, you got a problem.
Yeah. So if your quill's rubbish, you will very quickly discover that your quill is rubbish. You're not allowed, if you're writing a Torah, and here we're writing with a little scrap of parchment, but if you're writing a Torah or Megillah or Mezuzah or Tefillin, any of those things, although actually there are some leniencies with Tefillin, let's not go there, you have to have ruled lines, just like an exercise book. But actually the Hebrew hangs from the line as opposed to sits on the line. Right? So you need a thing called a sargel, and this is my sargel, which is basically a rose thorn that's attached to it.
That's a rose thorn.
It's a rose thorn. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Weird people. Right.
And so you're essentially cutting a line
essentially
in the parchment.
Scoring a line into the parchment. Right? So there's a very faint line there.
And we see this in Torah scrolls and manuscripts. You see that in Torah scrolls, and you're supposed to do that. It's really important. Right? And then we're dipping the quill in here. And I'm just going to check that it's a reasonable cut, because I cut it earlier. So you did that on a regular piece of paper?
So I did it on a regular piece of paper. Now, it's much harder to write on a piece of paper, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is that?
It doesn't have the... What's the word?
It's too smooth.
It's too smooth. It doesn't have the sort of feel to it that you get with parchment. Parchment just has this grit.
Has a texture.
It's a texture. It's like... If you actually look at parchment through a microscope, it's like a carpet. It's quite interesting.
Interesting.
So let's write Amalek.
So you're writing the ayin.
So I'm writing the ayin down here. Wow. And then you've got a couple of tugin in there, because Amalek has
little doohickeys.
Has little doohickeys.
So again, I want to emphasize what you said, that in English, the letters sit on the ruled line, and in Hebrew, they hang from the ruled line.
Hang from the ruled line. So there's a mem. I'm doing this.
Wait, so your mem is like a kaf and a vav.
Yes, it's a kaf and a vav.
Nice.
That's exactly what it is, and that's the actual root of the letter is a kaf and a vav, and then a lamed is here. And I'm trying to do this big and
your lamed has 2 little horns.
Two little horns,
and that's on purpose.
And that's
right?
on purpose.
Okay.
The decorative thing that goes on, and then a kuf. And a kuf is kind of like a zayin.
Hanging from a
thing, and then it also has a tug here. So very pretty. Very pretty. And then we just do this.
Crossed out. Okay.
Because we are blotting
out Amalek. Okay. That's interesting.
Amalek.
Well, it's interesting you do it with a strike through. I call this a strike through from Word, MS Word. That's
a bit branding there. Yeah.
Well, no. So it's interesting. So the term for that is people will actually call this in Hebrew havarat kulmus, but that can mean other things as well.
whereas the strike through is very specific. So do you ever let it dry and then scratch it off with a razor?
No.
You don't do that. Okay.
No.